Here's my version of your Module 2 assignment, the Project Charter. The Project Charter is intended to identify for the project the basic fundamental questions. What are we going to do? Who's going to do it? Why are we doing it? The justification for the project. How are we going to do it? When are we going to do it? And how much is it going to cost? Okay. This leads into our triple constraints for project management. The budget, the scope, and the schedule. So my project here is a fundraiser for Stockton Public Schools. I have the program manager who's the PTA, and in reality there should be a human being there, the one throat to choke, if you will, as well as accountability on the project management. From an objective, and we talked a little bit about objectives and goals last week, and we'll talk more about this in some of our other courses. The objectives should be measurable, they should be specific, they should be achievable, relevant, and time-based. So here we're going to raise, our objective is to raise $10,000. We're going to market to the Stockton City community with the intent of selling 200 tickets. The objective is to raise funds prior to the end of the school year, which enables the music teachers to apply the funds for the coming school year, and create a sustainable, repeatable annual program capable of raising funds for the school arts programs. We don't want to, this is not a one and done. This is something we want to start doing and continue to do, ideally because of its success. The project deliverables. So this is the why. This is part of our justification. And this also becomes useful as we have requests for scope change in the future, that we have something to compare back to our initial objectives. If we have a change to do something affecting scope, budget, or schedule, we can say, how does that contribute or not to our project objectives? Our project deliverables is another further statement of what. So the project is going to produce tangible output or tangible projects, a fundraising theme, a scheduled evening, a venue, advertising. Here are all the things, the 9 or 10 deliverables that will be produced within the project as output. The business reasons is more justification for the project, that due to the failing Stockton City School budgets, our programs are underfunded, school instruments are past their useful life, but we see a viable music program is invaluable in giving kids something positive to do away from the streets. And here's more of our business reasons or more of our justification for the project. Charters typically are used to get a project approved, so in doing that we need to have a rather complete picture of what we're going to do and how much it's going to cost and the justification for that. And that's what this charter is doing here. Who is the customer? The customer benefits, providing instruments to the school department and assisting with funding. I think in some respects this template's a little bit excessive and forces us to repeat ourselves, and that's not something that I'm an advocate of. I think we need to be very clear and concise in our charters, but this is the template we're working with. Success criteria. How do we know this project was a success? Well, it has raised more than $10,000 in donations and ticket sales. Here's our triple constraint trade-off. Budget is the most flexible for me, so I have the ability to spend a little more or spend a little bit less, but from a schedule standpoint and a scope standpoint, I'm not flexible. I have to be done in a certain time period. I have to be done, or I have to deliver the scope of the project. There's an old adage, you can do it cheap, you can do it well, or you can do it so cheap, efficient, or on time, pick two. You can't have everything. You can't say that everything is not flexible. Something has to be able to give. Project background is why are we doing this project? What are some of the factors leading to this project? Well, we find out here that the high school wind ensemble won a second place in an all-state band competition. They could have done better had the school instruments been a bit more improved, and just more of our justification. Project scope, what's in scope, what's out of scope. We're not going to purchase the instruments. We're not going to repair any current instruments, secure instruments. That's not what we're doing. We're just pulling together the ability to achieve donations so that we can donate funds to the music department. Risk level. How risky is this project? Well, the city of Stockton is on hard times, so we could negatively impact ticket sales by the lack of employment or the lack of successful employment. And Stockton schools may not be able to provide a venue for the party, which could inflate our cost. We may have to rent a location or rent a venue rather than using the school gymnasium, which would be cheaper, not free, because you still have to pay janitorial costs, cleanup costs, etc., etc. Assumptions and constraints. So our assumption is that pride, city pride, civic pride will be, we can capitalize on that morale and good feeling to sell tickets, even for those people choosing not to attend. That the work organizing the party will be performed by volunteers, and catering, we're not catering a full meal, only appetizers. Here's our major milestone targets. So this is answering the question of when. This is answering the question of who. So that's answering all of our questions: who, what, when, where, why, how, and how much. What I'm looking for from all of you is clarity, concise, and take time to really think about your grammar and your English usage. If I'm confused, your sponsor, your stakeholders would also be confused. And my grading criteria is pretty straightforward here. As long as I don't have questions after reading your document, I think it's fine. The more questions I have, the more concerns I have. All right, thank you, and I'll see you in Module 3.